Hey guys, it's CrystalBlazier, and here in front of me is the fourth draft of the Legend of Spyro movie script. That's right, the fourth draft of the movie script done for the Legend of Spyro 3D. This movie was reported to have been in the works back in 2007, but was cancelled in 2009, the same year it was supposed to come out in theaters. It was to be produced by the same producer who worked on the film adaptation of Aragon, and the screenplay was going to be written by the Altier brothers, the same duo who would later write the script for the notorious animated film Norm of the North. Shoutout goes to Yoshi Killer S2 for going out their way to find the script and getting permission to share it online for all to see. For those who want to download the script and read it at their own time, the download link is in the video description below. Right now, I'm going to read all the script in front of me, from beginning to end. I may do a few pauses here and there to commentate on what's happening, catch my breath, stretch my legs, and drink my water bottle, but I'll continue as soon as possible. But if I feel tired and want to stop for now, I'll continue in another video. From what we know, this movie was supposed to be a retelling of the story from The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning, the first game in the Legend of Spyro reboot. So without further ado, let's begin reading. The Legend of Spyro by the Altier brothers. Fourth draft, November 18th, 2008. And this was after Spyro Dawn of the Dragon was released in North America. Fourth draft. That means there are 3 other drafts out there. We hear an ancient voice that seems to be speaking from a faraway place. For centuries, we dragons lived in peace. A pink sun rises over a magical landscape of rolling hills and lush forests. A silver river weaves through the countryside, shimmering in the sunlight. And all around, there are dragons. Yellow ones, blue ones, green ones, dragons of every color. They fly through the sky, run through the tall grass, and drift lazily down the river on their backs. We prospered and lived in harmony with all the creatures and the lands. It was a time of great balance. A few dragons flap into an overgrown valley and emerge with mouths full of juicy berries. A couple others playfully chase each other through the clouds in a game of dragon tag. And we watch as a mother and father fly beside their dragon son and cheer him on as he takes to the air for the very first time. Aww. Perhaps we were all so blinded by the light, we were unable to see the darkness approaching on the horizon. Blast! A burst of fire explodes out of the clouds, knocking 2 of the dragons out of the sky. We were unable to see the coming of the one they call the Dark Master. We hear a mighty roar and see 2 red eyes shine out of the clouds. They shine brighter and white out the screen. When we regain our focus, we find ourselves in where a small egg sits on a soft bed of thatch, glowing with a luminescence that seems to come from within. A mighty red dragon stands before it. This is Ignitus. He finishes his story. And that is why you are so important, young one. For with you comes hope. Ignitus smiles down at the egg when, boom! The room shakes. Ignitus' eyes widen. Boom! The room shakes again, and the entire temple starts trembling. Dirt falls from the ceiling. Faults appear in the walls. Ignitus tries to steady himself when, crack! The stone pedestal supporting the egg starts to give way. The egg rolls out of its nest and drops, but Ignitus catches it just in time. Phew! The gravely voice of another dragon suddenly bellows from outside. They found us! Guardians, save the eggs! Ignitus darts over to an opening in the rock wall and peers out to sea. Dragons scrambling from roosts and taking off into the night with eggs in their mouths. Zzz! Blasts of green acid suddenly come from out of nowhere, hitting a blue one in mid-flight. Cyril! Ignitus watches in horror as the dragon clutches his chest and falls into the darkness, the egg falling with him. What? Did they just kill off Cyril here? And that poor egg. With Within the first few pages of this script, and they already killed off a character we know and love. Wow. Risky move there, Altia brothers. Ignitus scans the sky for the source of the blast, and is shocked by what he sees. A pack of hideous creatures is emerging from the clouds, hissing in delight. They have sharp claws and jagged yellow teeth, and their bodies seem to consist of rotting leaves, twisted thatch, and dripping mud, as if they were cut from the earth itself. These elemental beasts hang there in the sky, their red eyes gleaming. Surrender the eggs that the Dark Master has ordered. There is no use in resisting. Give them to us if you want your temple to stand through the night. A yellow dragon suddenly bursts from the temple with an egg in its mouth. It is spotted by two of the elemental beasts, and they descend on him. One extends a sharp tail and stings the dragon like a scorpion. The dragon goes limp as the other elemental beast grabs the egg out of its mouth and flies off. The eggs! Protect the eggs! And then he's gone. Ignitus turns away from the window and rushes to the egg. It is time, little one. He picks up the egg and places it under his wing when, crash! The wall suddenly explodes, revealing 4 more of the elemental beasts. Give it to us now! Ignitus turns away to shelter the egg and smiles. Isn't it nice when your enemies line up for you? He inhales and, blast! Hits the beast with a burst of red fire. The beasts are blown back, and Ignitus takes the egg in his mouth and flies out into the night. Ignitus hits the sky, flapping as fast as he can. 3 of the beasts regroup and give chase. He's defenseless with the egg in his mouth. He cannot use his fire. They all charge when suddenly, Ignitus tosses the egg into the air, blasts his surprised opponents, and catches it again. One of the beasts falls from the sky, but the other 2 keep coming. Zzz, zzz, zzz. They spit their green acid at him. Ignitus does his best to dodge, but the beasts stay with him. Bam! One of them rams him from the side. Bam! The other rams him from the other side. Both beasts suddenly pull up and go to ram him at once, but Ignitus hits the brakes, and the beasts slam into each other. Ignitus smiles and zooms past them. The beasts scream in rage and shoot off after him. As they pick up speed, they start spinning through the air like flying eels. They get closer and closer, and then, slam! They connect with Ignitus' neck, and the egg flies loose. No! Ignitus watches in horror as it falls through the sky and splash! Drops into the Silver River. Ignitus dives after it. The beasts follow, and they all chase after the egg as it heads downstream and into raging rapids. The egg is bounced around, narrowly missing sharp rocks. Ignitus follows and tries to grab it, but the beasts grab his tail and pull him back. They slam him against the rock walls, sending boulders dropping into the river. The egg barely avoids destruction. Ignitus narrows his eyes. Enough of this. He flies out of the channel and towards a brittle thicket of trees in the distance. The beasts follow, and suddenly he turns around in the air and blast! The trees ignite in an explosion of fire, and the beasts are blown back. Ignitus drops to the Silver River and finally snatches the egg. He checks it. It's still intact. He looks around. What now? When something suddenly catches his eye. A glimmer in the forest up ahead. Ignitus brightens. He casts a glance behind him. There is no sign of the beast, and flaps off towards the glimmer. Ignitus lands in a quiet woodland glen. The glimmer is gone now. He looks around and whispers into the fog. Brothers, please, it is I, Ignitus the dragon. I need your help. Only the gentle rustling of the trees can be heard. I beg you, reveal yourselves. Suddenly, little glowing orbs of light emerge from the wood. They appear to be dragonflies. They circle around Ignitus, setting his desperate face aglow. There is no time to explain. I call on the allegiance of our distant ancestry. Take this egg, raise it in secret, It is the only hope we have. And the ancestry between dragons and dragonflies were mentioned in the second synopsis of the film. I wonder how they're gonna play it out here. The dragons exchange hesitant glances. One, a serious-looking bug with a strong, steady glow, flies to the fore. This is Flash. Wherever there are dragons, there is war. We are peaceful creatures, Dragon Ignitus. Don't bring your trouble to us. This egg will end all wars. It has been prophesied. The dragon that will hatch from it will bring peace to all the lands. Please, you must help me. The dragonflies look at each other, unsure, when a shadow falls on them. They all look up to see the two elemental beasts circling in the sky. Ignitus gives the dragonflies a pleading look. It's now or never. Suddenly, a female dragonfly with gentle eyes flies forward. This is Luna. We will do what we can. Flash looks at her and shakes his head. Ignitus smiles with relief and rolls the egg to her. The dragonflies lift it up and carry it towards a hidden passage in the rock when, zzz, a blast of green acid whizzes past Ignitus. The beasts have found him. He casts one last gaze towards the dragonflies, then takes off into the sky. Slam! The beasts are suddenly upon him, tearing and clawing at him. One of them raises his sharp tail and, sting! Ignitus goes limp. He tumbles through the air and drops lifelessly into the Silver River. Did they just kill off Ignitus? In the prologue? So early in the story? No. They wouldn't be this risky, would they? Ugh. Just killing off one of the key characters of the series. The beasts cackle in triumph and swoop into the glen. It's deserted. There is no sign of the egg. They roar with frustration and scream into the woods. Hide! Hide from us now, but you cannot hide forever. The Dark Master will find you and prove the folly of this so-called prophecy. Zzz! They blast the trees with their green acid and take off into the night. We're in a secret valley hidden in the forest. Two dragonflies flutter around the egg. Flash and Luna, husband and wife. In the Legend of Spyro games, the Nina is Flash's wife. She's renamed Luna here. Creative liberty, I guess? I don't know why I didn't stop you. I should have put my wing down. You and your wing. It's the right thing to do, and you know it. Dragons and dragonflies have an ancient pact. But what are we going to do? Raise it as one of our own? We already have an egg. So what's one more? Luna gives him a smile. Flash frowns, giving in. The wife always wins, even in the world of dragonflies. Luna and Flash roll the egg into a soft bed of thatch next to a much smaller egg, a dragonfly egg. Luna pats the eggs and dusts them off. She turns to her husband and gives him a look. He blinks. What? Oh, right. He flutters off, returning a beat later with some leaves. He places one on top of the dragonfly egg, covering it like a blanket. Luna smiles. He places one on top of the dragon egg. It sits on top of it like a hat. Flash smiles. Luna doesn't. He sighs and flies off again. Expectant parents montage. Pan down a row of expectant dragonfly mothers, all knitting tiny little booties with happy little silkworm helpers by their side. At the end of the row, Luna is knitting an entire pair of booties. Her silkworm helper desperately tries to keep up. Pan down a row of expectant dragonfly fathers, building tiny little cribs. At the end of the row, Flash is hammering down the last nail into an enormous crib. Bang, bang, crash! The entire thing topples over. The other expectant dragonfly fathers laugh. A dragonfly doctor holds a stethoscope made of sticks up to the dragonfly egg and lets Flash listen. Dum dum, dum dum. Flash lights up. The doctor then holds the stethoscope up to the dragon egg and lets Flash listen. Dum dum. Flash is blown across the room. Well, it is a dragon egg. They're much bigger than dragonflies. The egg sits in their nest before a flickering fire. Luna flutters before them with a warm smile. Any day now, Flash. Any day now. Behind her, Flash gives her a look and then passes out. We push into the embers of the fire and a dark mountain is hideously framed against the dual moons. Its peak is shaped like a gargoyle, twisting unnaturally into the night. A moat of bubbling tar winds around it like an oily snake. It's bleak, horrible. We move inside. A large red gem sits atop a stone pedestal, bathing the room in an eerie glow. A small black bat with oversized fangs hangs upside down from the ceiling. This is Pox. He watches as two of the elemental beasts slither in, one holding an egg. Master! The beasts! They have returned! Okay, we have an Igor-based character. The elemental beasts approach the darkest corner of the room and place the egg down like an offering. As you commanded, Master. Two red eyes appear in the darkness. They gaze down on the egg and narrow. This is not the egg of prophecy! The elemental beasts flinch and cower. Oh boy, this is gonna be good. Pox watches with sadistic delight as one of the elemental beasts summons enough courage to step up to the red eyes. But the guardians, it is one they coveted. How can you be sure? You dare question me? We are sorry, Master. We have failed you. Let us take it away and... Silence! Leave it where it lies. I will make use of it. The elemental beasts back away. We will return to the temple. We will find the egg you seek. No. The elemental beasts stop. Your service has come to an end. Blast! Fire suddenly explodes out of the darkness, reducing the elemental beast to piles of ash. Pox giggles with delight at the display, and the reflection of the red eyes appear on the egg. As for you, your service has only just begun. A claw reaches out and pets the egg, and your brother egg will be found. It will be found. The red crystal suddenly pulses, filling the room with its crimson glow. Pox, I have a task for you. Pox's eyes whiten with delight. He launches off the ceiling and lands on the egg. Anything, Master! Anything! As Pox waits for his instructions, we move closer to the egg and... where the other dragon egg sits in a bed of soft thatch next to the dragonfly egg. Suddenly, one of the eggs trembles. Luna flies up. What was that? She stares down at the eggs, but it looks like it was nothing. She shrugs and goes to fly off again when the other egg trembles. Luna spins back around and watches with excitement as both of the eggs start to twitch and shake. She turns and, Flash! I think they're hatching! I think they're both hatching! Flash quickly appears by her side, frazzled. Okay, let's just stay calm. Breathe, honey. I need you to breathe. The important thing is to not panic. He starts flying back and forth in a panic and, I'm gonna go boil some water. He goes to fly off, but Luna grabs him. Honey, just watch. Flash takes a deep breath and watches with Luna as the eggs continue to twitch and tremble and... Crack! The expected parents gasp as a little yellow dragonfly pokes his head out of the smaller egg. He's cute, wide-eyed, and is a splitting image of Flash and Luna. The proud parents glow even brighter at the sight of him when... Crack! The other egg cracks open, and a much bigger head pops out of it. It's cute, wide-eyed, and looks nothing like Flash and Luna. It's a little purple dragon. Luna gives both of her babies a maternal smile. Flash looks at the dragon, not sure how to feel, then turns to the dragonfly and smiles proudly. My son will be named Sparks. Luna gives him a look. And our other son will be named... Flash looks at the little purple dragon, and then looks away. He's not ready to accept this. Luna frowns at him, then smiles at her new dragon son. In this version, I guess Flash takes some time to accept Spyro as his son. I mean, from his point of view, I can probably understand. I mean, it is an egg they took in to protect him, so it'll probably take some time. Spyro. We will call him Spyro. Luna smiles as the two babies look around at their new world. They see each other and smile. Brothers. Then they both start wailing. Babies. Baby sequins. Luna sits in a rocking chair, gently rocking Sparks to sleep in her lap. Pan over to see Flash in a rocking chair, struggling under the weight of Spyro in his lap. Just when Spyro falls asleep, crash! The chair breaks and Spyro falls to the ground, completely flattening Flash. And Spyro starts wailing again. Luna holds a bottle of glowing milk to Sparks' mouth, and he gently suckles it down. Pan over to see Flash surrounded by dozens of empty bottles, frantically trying to keep up as Spyro chugs and chugs. The bottle empties, and Flash reaches for another, but he's out. Spyro looks at him, and you guessed it, starts wailing again. Luna takes a tiny diaper off Sparks and flies off. Pan over to see Flash removing an enormous diaper from Spyro. It's bursting at the seam. What? No! No. 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 Bursting at the seams. Why? This is some fetus stuff here. No. Imagine if we all saw this in theaters. If this made it into the final draft. We'd be talking about it for years. No. Come on, man. Flash winces and goes to carry it off, but he loses his balance, flips to the ground, and the diaper lands on top of him. Ooh. Poor Flash. Splat! Spyro finally stops wailing and starts laughing. Sparks joins in, and the two brothers laugh together. Luna flutters in place, exercising on her flutter mill. She finally stops out of breath and flies over to what looks like a small scale on the ground. She steps on, but doesn't like what it says. Oh, I'm never going to lose this egg weight. Oh no. Not this too. No. Losing pregnancy weight. Jeez, they're destroying in stuff, are they? They're destroying in stuff, weren't they? They were just throwing in some interesting stuff in here. She shakes her head when Luna, come quick. What is it? It's Sparks. I think he's about to take his first flap. Luna's eyes widen, and she flies into the other room to see Flash fluttering in the air above Sparks and Spyro. They're a bit older now, toddler age, and Sparks' wings are just beginning to unfold. Luna and Flash watch in awe as little Sparks flaps one wing, flaps another, and then flutters into the air. "He did it! Our little boy is flying! He's flying, Flash!" They watch in awe as Sparks awkwardly flutters higher and higher in the air, flying for the very first time. Spyro watches his brother and gets a determined look in his eye. He turns and looks at his own undersized wings. Why not? He strains and one of them flaps. Flash, look! Flash turns to see Spyro's little wings starting to flap too. He and Luna watch as Spyro flaps them faster and faster, and then jumps into the air and crash! Slams right into the kitchen table, breaking it to pieces. Flash winces. Luna rushes over, and Sparks breaks into hysterics. Spyro shakes off the debris and shrugs. Oh well. Seasons change in the Glen. Summer to fall, to winter, to the colorful return of spring. We move into Flash and Luna's dwelling to see Luna fluttering nervously in front of Flash. I don't know. Maybe we should wait until next season. Luna, it's time. We have to let him spread his wings. Swish pan to reveal Spyro, older now, the age and size he'll be for the rest of the story. I wonder what the final design would have been looked like if the movie ever got past writing phase, right? The writing stage. Would he resemble his A New Beginning design, or would he look a little different? Guess we'll never know. He's standing on the ground and trying to spread his wings. He gives them a little flap, but nothing happens. Come on, bro, you call that flapping? Sparks, also older, flies into frame. It's the first day of school. If you don't get liftoff soon, we're doomed. We'll be stuck at the crud beetle table at lunch. And you know what those guys eat. I'm trying, Sparks, I'm trying. Spyro flaps his wings again. Still nothing. Sparks slaps his forehead. Crud beetles, here we come. Spyro gives him a look and smiles. Hey, we'll be sitting with them anyway thanks to that haircut Mom gave you. Sparks' eyes widen. I told her go easy on the antenna. Sparks self-consciously adjusts his antenna. Spyro laughs. And besides, flying or no flying, I'm still faster than you. Spyro turns and runs out the door. Hey, wait up! Sparks flies after him. Flash and Luna flutter to the door. Be careful, boys. Look both ways before you cross the stream. Don't talk to any strange bugs. And come straight home after Luna. They'll be fine. Flash puts his arm around her and gives her a squeeze. Luna wrings her hands and tries not to worry. Sparks chases Spyro through the Glen. He flies past him, swatting him on the back of the head as he passes. Ha ha! How's that for fast? Sparks turns around and gives Spyro a taunting smile. When, bonk, he flies right into a low tree branch. Ow! Spyro laughs, ducks under the branch, and runs past him. I don't know. How's that for clumsy? Sparks rubs his head and flies after him. They chase each other through the Glen and soon catch up with the other young dragonflies heading towards a clearing in the distance. A cute dragonfly girl flies past Sparks and gives him a smile. Hi, I'm Glimmer. Sparks turns to her and his eyes widen. She's just so pretty. Big, fluttering eyelashes and a smile that lights up her face. Sparks' jaw goes slack and he completely loses the ability to speak. Oh, hi, I'm, bwah. Ah, love at first sight. Sparks suddenly freezes in the air and drops into a bush. Glimmer shrugs and continues after the other dragonflies. Sparks? Spyro runs up to the bush and parts the branches to reveal Sparks, still moon-eyed and slack-jawed. Sparks, are you okay? Sparks shakes it off. Yeah, I'm fine. I just tripped. That's all. In mid-air? Sparks pulls himself up and dusts himself off. Let's just get to class, okay? He flies after the other dragonflies. Spyro grins and flies after him. No problem, bwah. Sparks turns and gives Spyro a look. What? Isn't that your new name? Sparks does a slow boil and flies off. Spyro giggles and runs after him. Glimmer and Bois, sitting in a tree. Golwing. Sparks frowns, humiliated, and they follow all the other young dragonflies into the clearing. Right as they go, we see a small black creature appear in the trees. It's the Dark Master's bat, Pox. He chuckles to himself and flies off. Uh-oh. Dozens of young dragonflies are gathering before a stern dragonfly teacher. All right, stop fluttering about and gather round. The dragonflies settle and hover before the teacher. Sparks and Spyro approach and take their place at the back of the class. Now then, I see you all have found your wings. Very good, very good. No late flyers among us. At the back of the group, Spyro shrinks down behind all the dragonflies and tries to hide. But I wonder how many of you realize just how important flying is. It is our greatest defense, and the secret to our survival. What do I mean by that? 2 words, fight or flight. The dragonfly teacher flutters back and forth in front of the class. When we dragonflies are threatened, which do we choose? He points to a gangly dragonfly in the front row. Flight? Correct. When we dragonflies find ourselves confronted by an adversary, which do we choose? He points to a pretty dragonfly with a braided antenna. Flight! Exactly. And when we dragonflies are in a situation where we sense there might be even the slightest chance of danger, which do we choose? All the dragonflies answered this one. Flight! Very good. Flying is not just what we do, class. It is what we are. We're dragonflies, not dragon fights. He smiles and pauses for a laugh, but one doesn't come. Never gets a laugh. Anyway, today we will work on mastering your technique. I will teach you how to dart and hover, zig and zig, and most of all, and most importantly, how to zoom. The class oohs and ahs. Now, come, follow me to the training course. The dragonfly teacher flutters off, and all the students fly after him. Sparks goes to join the group, but sees Spyro standing there looking at his feet. Sparks thinks for a second, and then suddenly flutters after the teacher. Hey, Teach, can I talk to you for a second? Yes, what is it? Sparks leans in confidentially. It's my brother. He hasn't really, I can't fly. The dragonfly teacher turns to see Spyro standing there on the ground. Ah, yes. Young Spyro, is it? Been looking forward to having you in my class. Don't worry, son. We'll have you up off the ground before you know it. We just have to be a little creative. Spyro looks at him nervously. Creative? As a group of young dragons slalom down an obstacle course of trees and rocks, we pull back to see Spyro hooked into an elaborate system of pulleys. Ropes are tied to his wings, and his body is in a training sling. The dragonfly teacher flutters beside him, holding the end of the rope. You just need a little help getting the motions down, that's all. So on the count of 3, you flap those wings and I'll do the rest. Got it, kiddo? Sure. I guess I'll give it a try. Good. Now, 1, 2, and... flap! Spyro starts flapping his wings as fast as he can, and the dragonfly teacher pulls on the rope. The pulley system kicks in, and Spyro starts to actually rise off the ground. That's it! Keep flapping! Don't stop now, boy! Spyro flaps and flaps, but then one of his wings get caught in the ropes and crunk! The entire system starts to unravel. Whoa, whoa, whoa! The dragonfly teacher is suddenly yanked forward and pulled through the system of pulleys. The entire system collapses. Spyro drops to the ground, and the teacher drops beside him, flattened. Not bad for your first try. He passes out. Quick series of shots. The other dragonfly students watch with wide eyes as the dragonfly teacher and two assistants fly under Spyro's wings like little fluttering training wheels. Spyro slowly rises into the air, and then he's released. He hovers in the air for a moment, flying on his own, and then suddenly drops out of frame with a crash. Spyro stands in the middle of the clearing with some sort of hose in his mouth. Pan over to see the dragonfly teacher fluttering over a small hand pump. He starts pumping, and Spyro starts to inflate and rise into the air. Okay. Let me drink my water real quick. I thought we got past this. Okay, snap out of it. Let's continue. 3, 2, 1. He starts pumping, and Spyro starts to inflate and rise into the air. But then, Spyro sneezes, shooting himself out of the frame and blowing the teacher to the ground. A now very nervous Spyro sits in a small basket that's part of a huge slingshot. The dragonfly teacher's assistant pull him back, and zing! He's shot out of the frame. All the dragonflies follow his trajectory with their eyes up. Up, 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 and then straight down. Crash! All the dragonflies laugh as Spyro stumbles out of the bushes. He shakes off some twigs, looks up at all the laughing faces around him. One of the dragonflies calls out, "Hey, what do you call a dragonfly who can't fly?" "A dragon walk." The dragonflies laugh even harder. Spyro looks down when a dragonfly bully with a red glow flies up. I don't think he's a dragonfly at all. I don't know what he is. The dragonfly flies around Spyro, looking him up and down. "What's with you, no-fly zone? Why can't you fly? Why are you so gigantoid? And why are you purple?" I don't know. You know what I think? I think you're nothing but a freak. Wow. Rude. Spyro winces, hurt, when Sparks comes pushing through the crowd. "Lay off, he's not a freak, don't say that." The dragonfly bully gives Sparks a look. "You're one to talk, nice haircut." The crowd explodes with laughter. Sparks turns bright red and covers his antenna. "Stop it, just stop it. Stop picking on us." The dragonfly bully turns back to Spyro and gets right in his face. "Why don't you make me?" Spyro glares up at the bully, and then sags. "Yeah, that's what I thought." Spyro looks at his feet. "Come on, Spyro, let's get out of here." Sparks pulls Spyro off. As they go, "See you around, gigantoid." More dragonfly laughs accompany Sparks and Spyro as they disappear into the trees. Spyro shuffles through the forest. Sparks flies by his side. "Don't let that guy get you down, bro. He's been a rotten egg since he was an egg." Spyro shakes his head. "But he's right, Sparks. Why can't I fly? Why am I so big? And why am I the only dragonfly this color? Sparks shrugs. You might as well ask why I'm so good looking. Every dragonfly's different, that's all. Yeah, I just think I'm more different than most. Spyro sighs. Sparks gives him a look and tries to snap him out of it. Hey, I know what'll cheer you up. Mom says she's making grub burgers for dinner tonight. Come on, I'll race ya. Spyro brightens a bit. Okay, but you know the rules. No flying, no narrow shortcuts, no... Hey! Sparks is already way ahead of him. Spyro laughs and races after him through the pleasant woods. It's a fun little game, a little chase between best friends. But when they emerge from the trees into Dragonfly Glen, they find their village under attack. Strange creatures are knocking over nests and chasing dragonflies with clubs. Like the elemental beasts, these creatures also appear to cut from the earth. Their bodies are grassy, held together with thatch and loam. Their mouths gaping maws of rotting bone. These are called goblins. So this is the film version of Gremlins from Spyro Dawn of the Dragon. What happened to the apes from The Legend of Spyro A New Beginning and The Eternal Night? They aren't going to be used here? Sparks, what's going on? I don't know. We gotta find Mom and Dad. Spyro and Sparks charge into the chaos, and we move to where two goblins are holding Flash and Luna by the wings. They shake them. Stop stalling, maggot. We know you're hiding him. Boss? Technically there aren't maggots. See, the maggot is the larva stage of... Shut up! I know what they are. Goblin number 1 slaps Goblin number 2, then turns to Flash and Luna. If you tell us where he is, we'll let you each keep one wing. The goblins pull at Flash's wings and flick Luna's antenna. Flash and Luna grit their teeth, defiant. We told you! We don't know anything about any... Mom! Dad! Flash and Luna spin to see Spyro and Sparks. The goblins see them too. There he is! The purple one! Spyro, run! Get out of here! Before Spyro can react, the goblins are all around him. Come here, little dragon. You're coming with us. Spyro backs away, scared and confused. Dragon? What are you talking about? I'm a dragonfly. The goblins look at each other and explode in disgusting chortles. Right. And I'm a fairy princess. Goblin number 2 lifts his tunic like a tutu and starts prancing around. Dee-dee-dee, look at me, aren't I pretty? The goblins laugh and grin down at Spyro. Whatever you are, you're coming with us. The goblins lunge at Spyro again, and this time manage to grab him. They drag him over to a small cage and lock him inside. Mom, Dad, what should I do? What should I... Swat! Goblin number 2 suddenly swats Sparks to the ground. That's what... Wow. That was brutal. The goblins all explode into laughter. Sparks! Sparks looks up, hurt, powerless to do anything. Spyro pulls at the bars of the cage as the goblins continue to chortle. One of them still holds Flash and Luna tightly in its grip. I guess we don't need you two anymore. But there's one thing I need. A snack. The goblin dangles Flash and Luna over his gaping maw and is about to drop them in when... No! Whoosh! A blast of orange fire suddenly explodes from Spyro's mouth. It hits the goblins and sets their leafy hides ablaze. Yeah! They drop Flash and Luna and hop, screeching into the woods, stopping and dropping and rolling all the way. So this plays out like the beginning of A New Beginning, where Spyro uses his flame breath on the apes, just as they are about to kill Sparks. At least the writers did play the game, at least. At least, as far as we know. Spyro looks down at itself, confused and shaken, and then looks at his parents. What am I? Luna flutters around the village, cleaning up with the other dragonflies. Spyro chases behind, still shaken. Come on, Mom. I want to know. I don't know what you're talking about, Spyro. You're my son. You're one of us. Just like we've always. Spyro jumps in front of her. Stop it. Just tell me. Tell me what I am. Luna flutters there, frozen. Flash flies up and puts his hand on her shoulder. Luna, it's time for him to know the truth. Luna nods and looks down. Flash turns to Spyro and takes a deep breath. It's true, Spyro. You're not the same as we are. You're not a dragonfly. You're a dragon. Spyro's eyes widen. A dragon? Sparks flies up behind him. Say what? Sparks looks at him all with his bug eyes, and Spyro sits before a flickering campfire. Flash and Luna flutter before him, their faces filled with the truths about to be told. You were given to us by a dragon from the great dragon temple up the river. We were meant to keep you hidden, but you are hidden no more. Whoever is searching for you will return, and I fear they will not stop until they find you. Flash looks at Luna, who nods grimly. Wherever there are dragons, there is war. And now that war has come to us. Spyro looks at the ones he once knew as his mother and father. Then he looks over at Sparks, sitting in the back of the room, his mouth agape. Spyro looks down. He's never felt more like an outsider, and his face shows it. We will leave this place, find a new home for ourselves. We will do what dragonflies do when they are threatened. We will survive by choosing flight. Flash puts his hand on Spyro's shoulder. Don't worry. We will do anything to protect you. You are still our son, Spyro. Luna looks at Flash, touched. He's come around after all. Yeah, he has come around. Spyro and Sparks enter their bedroom, silently, avoiding eye contact. Spyro sits down on his thatched bed and looks at his feet. Sparks flies up behind him. He goes to say something, but stops. For the first time, he doesn't know what to say to his brother. He finally shakes it off. So, a dragon, huh? Guess that explains some things. Spyro looks away. Yeah, I guess it does. Sparks flies around to face him. When you think about it, it's pretty cool. I mean, a dragon, like, rawr. Sparks gives him a smile. Hey, I just thought of something. You can be my bodyguard. Now that will be cool. Spyro doesn't smile back. Yeah, cool. Spyro slumps off his bed and picks up a small leaf sack. He opens it up and starts throwing stuff into it. Berries, a blanket, some twine. Sparks looks at him. Spyro, what are you doing? I'm leaving, Sparks. Leaving? What are you talking about? Spyro turns to face him. Sparks, if I stay here, I put everyone in danger. You heard what your parents said. Wherever there are dragons, there is war. My parents? They're your parents too. No, not anymore. In the games, like Spyro still accepts Flash and Luna or Nina as his parents, and they still accept him as his son, even though he's not their real son. Sparks shakes his head, not understanding. Spyro takes a deep breath. Sparks, I need to do this. I need to find out who I really am. Spyro turns and goes to throw his leaf pillow into his bag, but Sparks grabs it. This is silly, Spyro, nothing's changed. We're still brothers. Okay, so you're a dragon, not a dragonfly. What's the difference? 3 letters and a couple of pounds? Sparks takes the sack and chucks it under Spyro's bed. Come on, let's just go to bed. Everything will be okay in the morning, trust me. Spyro looks at Sparks and finally gives in. Okay, you're right. Let's just go to bed. Good night, Sparks. Spyro hops into his bed. Sparks gives him a smile. Good night, bodyguard. Roar. Sparks laughs. Spyro does too, but we can see he doesn't mean it. Sparks is asleep in his bed, gently talking in his sleep. No, Glimmer, my name is Sparks, not Bois. We pan over to see Spyro, also asleep, or maybe not. His eyes suddenly open. He quietly gets up, retrieves his sack from under the bed, and tiptoes to the door. Before he leaves, he turns and gives his dragonfly brother one last look. Oh, hey, have you met my bodyguard? Spyro sighs and tiptoes out. Spyro appears at the door and peeks in at Flash and Luna, asleep in a hammock. He gazes at them, and then drops his head and tiptoes into the night. Spyro walks through his village, sack slumped over his shoulder, giving the glen he's called his home one last glance. He looks at the little dwellings and the tiny campfire pits, and then walks off into the night. Spyro makes his way down a dark path. Moonlight barely penetrates the thick canopy of trees with branches that reach out at him like claws. Mysterious noises echo all around him, and strange shadows cross his path. Spyro looks around, afraid. Are those figures in the bushes? Or is it just his imagination? Spyro shivers and pushes on. But then, what's that? He spins towards a rustling in the bushes. Or that! He spins around and starts walking backwards, crouching, trying to make himself smaller. The sounds of the forest seem to multiply, amplify, and is too much for him. He turns and runs. Spyro runs through the thick forest, branches tearing at him, bushes tripping him, until he gets to a clearing. Where is he? He looks around, lost, scared, confused. He tries to get his bearings, but he doesn't know where to turn. He looks down. Guess he could camp here. Spyro drops some sticks onto a small pile of leaves. He picks up two of them, kneels down and tries rubbing them together. Nothing happens. He rubs harder. They don't even smoke. He looks at the leaves and gets an idea. He stands up and looks around. Yeah, why not? He takes a deep breath, leans over the leaves, and breathes. Nothing. He shakes his head. Why can't he do it again? Maybe he's got to breathe harder. He takes a few steps back, getting a running start, and breathes. Still nothing. He sits back down in front of the pile of leaves and sighs. He pulls his blanket out of his sack, pulls it over his little wings, and shakes his head. Some dragon I am. Spyro shivers, clutches the blanket tighter, and tries to block out the scary sounds that surround him. Okay, small break time. Let me stretch my arms and legs real quick. And drink my water. Okay, I'm ready again. 3, 2, 1. Mountain of Malifor, Room of Shadows, nighttime. The red gem glows, casting the shadow of a young dragon on the wall. Beside it, the red eyes of the Dark Master gleam from the darkness. Be still, my pet. Pock swings into view, again hanging upside down from the ceiling. Hey, I thought I was your pet. I mean, who found that pesky purple pest for you? The Dark Master growls. Pox gulps. Sorry, I'll be quiet. Pox clams up and watches as, whoosh! Fire suddenly shoots out of the darkness and strikes the gem. The flames swirl and dance inside, illuminating an eddy of what appears to be a host of ghostly dragons within. And then, crack! The fire shoots back out of the gem and connects with the shadow of the young dragon, as if completing a circuit. The shadow shudders. Yes, embrace the darkness. Give into it. Let it fill you up. The shadow of the dragon steadies itself, twitches, and then starts to grow before our eyes. Yes, let it take away all your fear. Let it grow within you and give spark to your darkest powers. The shadow grows even bigger when, from off screen, my lord, we found it! The gem dims and the shadow of the young dragon fades, and the red eyes turn to see goblins 1 and 2 entering. It was right where the little bat said it was. Pox nods proudly. The red eyes turn on the goblins. Then why is it not before me? The goblins gulp. Well, we certainly did not want to disappoint your greatness, the Dark Master, but it breathes fire! The red eyes narrow. Fire? You think that was fire? Oh, foolish, foolish goblins. How surprised you'll be when you feel the fury of true dragon fire! The red eyes flash. The goblins wince and look at each other. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yep, we're toast. The goblins close their eyes and brace themselves. But nothing happens. Goblin number 2 opens his eyes and looks around. We're not toast? The red eyes dim. You have failed me, make no mistake of that. But your folly may prove valuable after all. The goblins relax. Pox frowns. Aw, come on. At least charbroil one of them. The Dragon of Prophecy will not stay in hiding any longer. Oh no. He will itch with questions. And there is only one place he can go for answers. Ooh, I know. The Dragon Temple. The goblins step up. We will wait for him there, and grab him when he... No. You will return here and inform me of his arrival. By then, my pet will be ready. The red gem suddenly glows again, illuminating the shadow of the young dragon. It stumbles forward and steps into the light. It's black, glistening, awkward on its feet, and there's something feminine about it. It snarls like a rabid dog. Whoa, glad she's on our side. The goblins stand there, staring at the monstrosity when... Now go! Do not fail me again! The black dragon suddenly opens his mouth and fills the room with black fire. The goblin turn and run. The Dark Master chuckles. Yes, you will do nicely. A claw extends out of the darkness and pets the black dragon's back. I shall name you after fire's last gasp. I shall name you Cinder. Pox's eyes widen in delight. Cinder! Brilliant! It works on so many levels. I guess that's why they call you the Master. Well, simping much? Little bad henchman just being a suck-up. The black dragon Cinder lets out a monstrous roar, and Spyro wakes with a start. What? Where am I? Spyro looks around, and then remembers. Oh, right. Still here. Still alone. He gets up and stretches. He looks at the rising sun, and his face brightens a bit. Maybe this isn't so bad after all. He picks up his sack and... Okay, let's see what's on the menu for breakfast today. Maybe some sugar root, a couple of pollen cakes, or... He reaches into his sack, but... Huh? He digs around inside, then turns it upside down. Empty? Where is all the stuff I packed? Then he sees them. Little white spiders walking in a row, carrying away his food. Hey, get back here! The spiders walk faster, squealing and squeaking as they go. Spyro gets up and chases them through the clearing towards a dark cave. The little spiders disappear inside. I'm guessing these little spiders are based on the bulb spiders from the swamp level in A New Beginning. Spyro stops. It's really dark in there. His stomach grumbles. He takes a deep breath and steels himself and enters the cave. Spyro looks around, squinting into the darkness. Hello? Little spider thingies? I'd really appreciate if you gave my breakfast back. I'd be willing to trade. He blinks his eyes, and they finally adjust to see the little white spiders crawling towards a huge white spider hanging from a web. It's gotta be twice Spyro's size. Ah! Spyro turns to run off, but runs right into another web. He's stuck. What? Ah! Spyro frantically tries to free himself after the large spider drops off its web and crawls towards him. It gets right in his face and... Ooh! A dragon? I caught a dragon! Mommy, Daddy, I caught a dragon! Spyro's eyes whiten in fear as two even bigger spiders crawl in. A dragon? Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you. A dragon? Let me see that. The dad squints at Spyro. Well, slap some wings on me and call me a butterfly. It is a dragon. Good work, son. Can I eat it now, Mommy? Huh? Can I? So we have talking spiders now. You already had your breakfast. Wrap it up and I'll make dragon burgers for lunch. The tiny spiders cheer from the ground. Dragon burgers? Wait, come on, look at me. There's not enough meat on me for dragon burgers. The white spider picks Spyro up, holds him to its mandibles, and starts spinning him round and round, cocooning him in a gooey web. No! Stop! Stop! Spyro's face is suddenly lost in the cocoon, cutting off his breath. He struggles for air as the rest of his head disappears under the web. And then the cocoon is complete. The white spider turns and starts carrying it off down a dark cavern when a torch appears, held by a cloaked figure. Get back, beast! The figure waves the torch at the giant spiders, making them shriek and recoil. Ah, my eyes! Oi! What are you trying to do? Blind us? The cloaked figure leaps in front of the white spider, waving the torch in its face. It recoils and drops the cocoon. Mommy! The figure suddenly pulls out a sword and slices the cocoon open. Spyro slides out, covered in glistening goo, and barely conscious. Come, little one! The cloaked figure drags Spyro out of the cave. The little spiders start to cry like babies, and the mother and father spiders charge after him, chomping their mandibles and shooting webs at him. The figure suddenly spins around, raises a bow, and shoots an arrow at the ceiling of the cave. Crack! An avalanche of rubble breaks loose, trapping the spiders inside. The figure drags Spyro out of the cave and puts him down. Spyro limply scrambles to his feet, wiping the goo off his eyes and backing away. Who are you? The figure lowers its cloak to reveal the proud face of a cheetah warrior. He smiles at Spyro with kind eyes. I am Hunter of the Cheetahs. It is an honor to meet you, great dragon of prophecy. They brought in Hunter? This early? So I guess they're mixing Dawn the Dragon into this retelling of A New Beginning. Because Hunter didn't make a full appearance until Dawn of the Dragon, the third game. But he did make a cameo in The Eternal Night and the post-credit scene. This is a neat change. Hunter dramatically drops to one knee and bows. Great dragon of what? Hunter stands up and looks at Spyro. Great dragon of prophecy. Hunter dramatically drops to one knee and bows again. Spyro blinks at him. I'm sorry. I don't know what that is. Hunter looks up at him. What? Is it possible you do not know? Has no one told you who you are? Who I am? I barely know what I am. Hunter shakes his head and stands up. Amazing. Someone whose destiny is so full of light, but is still so in the dark. My destiny? Please, tell me what you know about me. Why did you call me a dragon of prophecy? Hunter dramatically drops to one knee and bows again. Spyro looks at him. Why do you keep doing that? Hunter stands back up. I'm sorry. It is a custom of my people. A sign of respect when those words are spoken. What words? Dragon of prophecy? Hunter dramatically drops to one knee and bows again. You don't have to keep doing that. Can you just tell me what you know about me? Why does this remind me of the second Ace Ventura movie? When Ace goes to a tribe of people who, whenever the words Shikaka are said, the tribe bows on one knee. Shikaka, they bow. Shikaka, they bow. It just reminds me. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a reference to that. Hunter stands up again. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that is not my story to tell, little one. But I can tell you this. I have been searching these lands for you for a very long time. All the creatures have. The cheetahs, the mole people, the... Mole people? He gives Spyro a warm smile. Our allies on the ground. Rarely seen, but always there. Spyro looks down, amazed as if he's expecting something to pop out of the ground at any moment. It'll be a great comfort to everyone to know you are still alive, great dragon of... Hunter goes to drop on one knee again, but... Okay, please, you don't have to keep doing that. Hunter stands back up. Sorry, old habits. Come, we must get you to the temple of your ancestors. I only hope we are not too late. Hunter puts his cloak back over his head and disappears into the woods. Spyro hesitates, still trying to process everything he's heard, then turns and follows. The terrain is beginning to change. Lots of charred trees and burnt brush. The ground is darker too, as if the dirt had been mixed with ash. Hunter emerges from the trees. Spyro follows behind, his eyes wide. What happened here, Hunter? These are dark times, little one. Dawn the Dragon reference. These are dark times, little one. The land and its creatures have suffered much. But why? Who did all this? Hunter takes a deep breath. The one you have been hidden from. The evil one they call... The evil one. The one they call... Suddenly, there's a rustling in the bushes. Hunter steps in front of Spyro, his bow suddenly in hand. What is it? Hunter raises his hand to silence him. The rustling happens again. Stay here. Hunter puts an arrow in his bow and starts moving towards the bushes. Spyro holds his breath as Hunter steps closer and closer. A ball of light suddenly bursts out of the bushes. Is that... Sparks? Spyro! Finally! I've been... Swat! Hunter suddenly swats Sparks out of the air. Oof! Sparks slams onto the ground. Hey! What's the big... Ah! Hunter raises a foot and is about to step on him when... Hunter, no! He's my brother! Hunter freezes. Whoa! Jeez, Hunter, calm down. It's just a dragonfly. Whoosh! Your brother. Hunter looks at Sparks, confused. Sparks shrugs and dusts himself off. Well, brother from another mother. He flies back into the air and gives Hunter a look. So who's the furball? Hunter narrows his eyes, insulted. It's okay, Sparks. He's a friend. A friend, huh? He flies right up to Hunter's face. Well, listen up, friend. You swap me like that again, and I'll pull your whiskers right off. Got it, Meow Mix? Hunter glares at Sparks and requivers his arrow. Spyro looks at Sparks and smiles. Sparks, you came after me. Sparks smiles back. We are brothers, Spyro, no matter who our parents are. And that means you go on a dangerous journey, I go on a dangerous journey. Got it? Aw. Spyro grabs Sparks and gives him a hug. Thanks, Sparks. Sparks squirms out of his grip and straightens his antenna. Hey, watch the antenna. You never know what kind of hot bugs we'll run into out here. Spyro laughs. Yeah, like you be able to talk to them if we did. The most you've ever gotten out, and I quote, is... Spyro makes the deer in headlights face Sparks made when he saw Glimmer. Bwah! Sparks frowns. I'll give you bwah! He rushes at Spyro, but Hunter steps in front of him and Sparks bounces off his chest. Bonk! Hey! If we want to get to the temple before dark, we must make haste. Hunter turns and heads off. Spyro looks at Sparks. I'm really glad you came. Yeah, don't get all weepy on me. Spyro chuckles and they follow Hunter off. So what's the big deal with this guy? I don't like cats. Okay. You ever see them clean themselves? They use their tongues. Disgusting. Wow, Sparks. Jeez. Don't worry, Sparks. He was sent to find me, protect me. You? Come on. No, really. Watch. I am the great dragon of prophecy. Hunter immediately turns, drops to one knee, and bows. Sparks looks at Spyro in awe. Hunter, realizing he's being messed with, gives them a look. I shall not fall for that one again. As the sun sets behind them, Spyro and Sparks follow Hunter through the blackened and charred terrain. Mom and Dad will be fine. I left them a note. Sparks blinks. Actually, wait a minute. I meant to leave them a note. Ah, well, they'll be fine anyway. Spyro rolls his eyes. Sparks looks around at the bleak landscape. Boy, this place sure could use a makeover, huh? Maybe a couple of bushes here, and a pond over there. Quiet, Glowbug. Glowbug? Who you calling Glowbug, Furface? We are here. Hunter points to the Dragon Temple looming in the distance. It's an ominous sight. Spyro gazes at it, his eyes wide. That's where I came from? It's larger, more majestic than anything he's ever seen. Spyro stares at it, not sure how to feel, when Hunter begins to ascend a steep staircase carved in the rock. Hunter and Spyro emerge at the top of the staircase, close to the temple's stone entryway. From this close, it looks discreet, falling apart, like it's been abandoned for years. Sparks flies up behind them. No offense, but your home is kind of a dump. Word-for-word reference from A New Beginning here. Kind of a word-for-word reference. Spyro gives Sparks a look. Sparks shrugs. I said no offense. Spyro turns back to the temple and follows Hunter through a gap in the stone doors. The walls are cracked, the ceiling is caved in, and the floors are covered in debris. A few beams of sunlight stream in through the cracks, but otherwise it's dark. Spyro and Hunter enter, stepping through the rubble. Sparks flies beside them. It doesn't look like anyone's been here for years. We may be too late after all. Hunter shakes his head when... Hey look! Dragon graffiti! Sparks flies up to the wall, lighting it up with his glow to reveal carvings in the stone. It's an ancient fresco telling a tale of dragons. Wow, if these are your ancestors, you are really due for a growth spurt. Spyro gazes up at the carvings. He sees noble dragons, proud dragons, strong dragons. They seem to stare back at him, stare into him, invoking feelings he's never felt before. Is this really what he is? What he's going to become? Spyro runs his fingers over the carvings, and then sees something at the end of the room. It looks like a nest of thatch lying in the rubble of a stone pedestal. Spyro approaches and picks it up. It's just big enough for an egg. Could it be? Suddenly, a booming voice shakes the room. Who dares invade the sacred temple of the dragons? Spyro drops the nest and spins to face Sparks. What was that? I don't know, but I don't want to find out. Let's get out of here. They turn and charge for the door. No, wait! Suddenly, an enormous red dragon drops in front of them. Ah! Spyro and Sparks dart around him and run out. The red dragon freezes, realizing something, and then we see it's Ignitus. He looks much weaker than when we last saw him. He sees Hunter, and it suddenly dawns on him. He turns and starts after Spyro and Sparks. Wait! Come back! Ignitus flies after them. Hunter follows. Spyro tears down the stone staircase as fast as he can. Sparks flies behind, trying to push him. Faster! Faster! We're so stupid. What did we expect to find at Dragon Temple? Suddenly, Ignitus flies into view beside them. Stop! Please! I mean you no harm. But Spyro and Sparks just keep charging down the steps. Yeah, right. Big scary dragon scares you once, shame on him. Big scary dragon scares you twice, and you're barbecue. Come on, Spyro. He's getting closer. Spyro and Sparks hit the bottom of the steps and take off into the bushes. Ignitus keeps after them. Spyro and Sparks charge through the ruins surrounding the temple. They tear through bushes, duck under low branches, and dart around sharp rocks. Ignitus chases behind them. You must listen to me. Spyro and Sparks look back. He's getting closer. Sparks grits his teeth and flutters over Spyro's back. Come on, Spyro. Flap what your mama gave ya. Really? Was that line even necessary? He grabs Spyro's wings and starts flapping them, but no dice. And then, look out! Spyro looks and slips. He skids over a bed of loose rocks and, whoa! Tumbles down a steep hill. Sparks tumbles with him, and they both slide down. Sparks holding onto Spyro's wings for dear life and riding him like a toboggan. Wah! Whoosh! They slide faster and faster. Sparks doing his best to steer Spyro around rocks and trees when, crunch! They crash into a tree stump. Ow! I think I landed on my wings. Sparks flutters into the air and dusts himself off. Spyro pulls himself to his feet and looks around. Do you think we lost him? Ignitus suddenly drops out of the sky in front of them. Yeah! Sparks jumps up. Let's get out of here! Spyro leaps to his feet and they turn to flee when Hunter suddenly appears in front of them. Stop! He's not going to hurt you. He's the one who sent me to find you. Spyro and Sparks freeze. What? Ignitus looks down at Spyro and smiles. Welcome home, little one. Come. There is much to do. Whoosh! He blasts a thicket of trees with his fiery breath, and a path back to the temple is revealed. Ignitus starts up it. Spyro goes to follow, but Sparks flies in front of him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you crazy? You really want to go with this guy? Sparks. I think I have to trust him. He's a dragon, like me. Spyro starts after Ignitus. Sparks frowns and flutters after him, shaking his head. That was a quick way to build trust. First they were running from him, and now suddenly they trust Ignitus. Why couldn't he have found out he was an elf? They're supposed to be really mellow guys. They all head up the path when Hunter stops, sensing something. He turns and scans the ruins, but all is quiet. He shakes his head and follows the others up the path. Right as he goes, the bushes part behind him, revealing Goblin number 1 and Goblin number 2. They smile at each other and run off. Two massive stone doors creak open and long shadows of Ignitus, Spyro, Sparks, and Hunter are cast on the floor. They make their way through the temple, their footsteps echoing off the walls. Ignitus casts a glance down at Spyro and smiles. I must say, you are a welcome sight for these tired eyes. I thought that you were lost for good. Spyro looks up at him. Who are you? How do you know me? I am Ignitus, the last of the Guardian Dragons. The last? So Terrador, Cyril, and Voltaire are gone? Wow. They killed off the other Guardians. So how is Spyro going to learn his element, the other elements? At one time, I cared for you when you were just an egg. Spyro looks up at Ignitus in awe. Sparks flutters up. You have some identification? Sparks? No, really. Come on, Spyro. How do we know this guy is who he says he is? Ignitus smiles at them. I see you have a good friend here, but I assure you, little dragonfly, I can be trusted. I'm the one who brought your brother to your peaceful glen. Sparks and Spyro look at each other. I returned when I thought it was safe, but the dragonflies were gone. Dragonflies are like that. They live the way they fly. Quick, elusive, and so very cautious. Which is why finding them at night was so fortunate. Sparks narrows his eyes, not yet convinced. Ignitus smiles at Spyro. So, Spyro, is it? Very good. Come. There is much to explain. Ignitus goes to lead them down a corridor. Spyro and Sparks follow him. Hunter stays by the door, peering outside. What is it? Just a feeling. Go, Ignitus. I will stay here and keep watch. Thank you, Hunter, for everything. Know that the dragons are forever in your debt. Hunter nods to Ignitus and bows slightly to Spyro. Sparks gives him a look. And know that the dragonflies are forever wondering why you don't have a sense of humor. Hunter does a slow boil. Spyro gives Sparks a look. Hey, come on. That cat's gotta lighten up. Ignitus leads Spyro and Sparks into a sacred room in the center of the temple. Its rounded walls are covered with even more frescoes. This is where the elders recorded the history of dragonkind, a history in which you, young Spyro, play a very important part. Spyro's eyes widen. Sparks flies up close to one of the frescoes. Look at that! So much detail. Is that watercolor or... Sparks goes to touch the fresco, but... Freeze! Sparks freezes in midair before the fresco. I am sorry, but I must insist that you be careful. These walls have withstood great battles, but I'm afraid time has begun to take its toll. Okay. Jeez. Give me a little credit. It's not like I was going to break it or anything. Ignitus gives him a look and turns to a torch. He lights it with his fiery breath and steps up to the first panel. Angle on the panel. It's a beautiful painting of a pleasant landscape. A bright sun hangs over rolling hills. Dragons fill the sky. Like our dragonfly friends, we are peaceful creatures at heart. We move into the panel, and it comes to life to tell the story of the dragons. Dragons fly gracefully through the sky, the tips of their wings touching the clouds. That is, before the rise of the dragon they call the Dark Master. Fire fills the sky. Dragons fall. We hear a mighty roar and see two red eyes shine out of the dark clouds. From the beginning, his powers were unmatched. He could have been one of the greatest defenders of these lands, but he chose a different path. Drawn to evil and destruction, he used his powers to wage war on all of dragonkind. The skies darken, and we move down to see dragons fleeing across the landscape. Blasts of fire explode behind him, charring the earth. As his powers grew, he discovered new ways to spread his terror. He began to amass a dark army pulled from the deepest depths of the earth. The ground starts to crack and crumble, and monstrous beasts emerge from the dirt. Some look like the goblins, others are more twisted, winged, like the elemental beast that attacked the temple. They stumble like zombies towards a dark mountain in the distance. But the dark times were only beginning, for the Dark Master was about to make a terrible discovery. He learned of the existence of a powerful crystal called the Life Gem that was said to be the source of all dragon magic. A red glow fills the screen and then focuses to reveal the large red crystal we saw earlier. He realized that if he possessed this gem, he could make himself even more powerful by capturing the essences of all the dragons he slaughtered and storing them inside the Crimson Crystal. So he kills the dragons and traps their souls and essences into this life gem. That's a fate worse than death. Jeez. We push into the crystal to see the eddy of ghostly dragons swirling within. There must be hundreds of them, thousands. Every dragon that fell added to his might. His powers grew and grew until darkness began to spread across all the lands. We see the landscape going from green to black, trees withering, lush fields drying up to deserts. Dragons flee across the landscape. The shadow of an enormous dragon falls on them, and then, blast! Fire rains down on them and fills the screen. It was a time of great danger for... Crack! Suddenly, the image starts to crumble and... where the entire wall of fresco drops into a pile of rubble. Ignitus and Spyro spin to see Sparks frozen with a little piece of rubble in his hand. Whoops. I'll admit, Sparks is even more annoying in this adaptation, at least in this fourth script, than the game itself. It's like the writers are trying to make him as annoying as possible. Ignitus shakes his head. Don't worry, I can fix it. You have any glue? Ignitus does a slow burn. Spyro steps up with a confused expression. Ignitus, I don't understand. What does all this have to do with me? You, young Spyro, are the light in the darkness. In the year of the dragon, it was prophesied that a dragon would be born that would rise up and defeat the Dark Master. A purple dragon possessing untold powers. Ignitus looks down at Spyro. You, young Spyro, are that purple dragon. Spyro looks up at Ignitus with wide eyes. Sparks bursts into hysterics. Him? You gotta be kidding me. He's scared of his own shadow. And I'll tell you a little secret. And he can't fly 2 feet without falling on his butt. Ignitus turns to Sparks. Until 2 moons ago, you thought he was a dragonfly. Imagine how he might surprise you tomorrow. Sparks stops laughing. Ignitus turns back to Spyro. We must begin at once. Ignitus turns and marches out of the room, leaving Sparks and Spyro standing there in shocked silence. Ignitus hurries down a crumbling hallway, lighting torches as he goes. Spyro chases behind. Wait. Begin what, Ignitus? You're training. You have much to learn in very little time. Hold on. Sparks is right. I can't be the one the elders were talking about. I can't be this dragon of prophecy. Ignitus stops and turns to him. There is no question. Ignitus continues down the hall, lighting torches. Spyro rushes after him. Wait. Why can't you go and fight the Dark Master yourself? You're so much bigger and stronger than I'll ever be. It is said only the Dragon of Prophecy can defeat the Dark Master. Ignitus looks down at him. And don't let my size deceive you. He stops and spreads his wings. They are thinning. My fire is nearly burned out. This is your task, young Spyro. Your destiny. You, you are a very special dragon. Ignitus gives Spyro a smile and continued down the hallway. Spyro watches him for a moment, conflicted. Then, I'm sorry, Ignitus. I can't do this. Ignitus stops. I just wanted to find out who I was, what I was. What you're asking is just too much. I understand. Everyone must choose their own path. But before you go, I want to show you something. Ignitus turns to two stone doors. He pushes them open, revealing a dark, charred valley that gives way to a desert of soot. There's a line of smoke in the distance, as if from a fire that's constantly burning. With each passing moon, the desolation spreads farther across the lands, and this is only the beginning. Spyro gazes out at the distant smoke. Sparks flies up. Okay. Well, like Spyro said, this has been great. It's so nice meeting family you never knew you had. Thanks for the story. We'll just let ourselves out, okay? Sparks goes to fly off. Spyro doesn't move. Spyro? Come on. Remember what they said in class? Fight or flight? I say this is a prime example of when we should choose flight. Sparks, look. Spyro points to the end of the line of smoke. What? What is it? I think that's the Glen. The Glen? Spyro nods. Sparks squints, and then his eyes widen. The line of smoke is not far from the Silver River. Sparks blanches. Spyro turns to Ignitus. This really isn't going to end? Ignitus shakes his head. And you're sure I'm the only one who could stop it? Ignitus nods. Spyro looks out at the dark landscape and seems to steel himself. Then, I at least have to try. Sparks' eyes widen. What? Spyro, are you out of your little purple mind? Sparks, dragonflies choose flight. But I'm a dragon. It's not that simple anymore. Ignitus gives Spyro a look of pride and descends down a stone staircase at the end of the hallway. Sparks rolls his eyes. Sheesh. Tell a guy he's a dragon and it goes straight to his head. Sparks shakes his head and flies after them. The room is pitch black until, whoosh! A burst of fire ignites a cluster of torches dangling from the ceiling like a chandelier. Spyro and Sparks look around in awe. Whoa. It's like a dojo for dragons. Charred targets hang from the ceiling. The walls are studded with ivory perches. Wooden training statues are scattered throughout in the shape of goblins, elemental beasts, and all sorts of wicked creatures. And floating in the air is a row of crystal orbs, dozens of them, each containing a different element. Fire, water, lightning, wind, and more. Wow, I'm surprised they referenced wind and water here. Water is a scrapped element from the Legend of Spyro. They were going to add water, but they chose to keep 4 standard elements: fire, electricity, ice, and earth. And wind is one of the elements dragons use. And it's only mentioned as one of the elements Malefor used in his youth. Neat little change there. For centuries, dragons have mastered their powers in this very room. I myself found my fire here. Spyro notices the floating orbs. What are those, Ignitus? Those are the dragon magics. Each dragon possesses a magic unique to themselves. I was blessed with fire. Others are masters of ice, wind, lightning. There are so many. So, I guess I'm like you. My magic is fire? Well, yes. And no. You see, the Dragon of Prophecy is said to be an exception. You, young Spyro, possess the potential for all the dragon magics. All of them? But I've only done fire once, and that was an accident. Now I have to learn ice and wind? Sparks flies up. You've already got wind down. You mastered that one the first time you ate bug beans, remember? You blew me right out of the room. Fart jokes. Spyro stands there, shaking his head. Ignitus pats his hand on his shoulder. Do not worry, young Spyro. Mastery will come with time. Training montage! Spyro and Ignitus stand under the floating orb filled with fire. Sparks flutters behind them. Fire, the most elemental of the dragon magics. I want you to focus on the flames and then close your eyes. Spyro stares intently at the flames within the orb and then closes his eyes. Do you still see them in your head? I think so. Good. Now I want you to try and feel something. Feel the blood of your ancestors coursing through your veins. As the dragon of prophecy, every dragon that came before you is a part of who you are, young Spyro. You must listen to them. Let them show you the way. Spyro concentrates harder, trying to feel it. Ignitus takes him by the shoulders and turns him towards a goblin training statue. Reach out for the fire that so many of them possess. Feel the flames, tap into them, and then bring them forth. Spyro clenches, inhales, and roar! Poof! A small puff of smoke drifts out of his mouth. Spyro blinks at it. Sparks breaks into hysterics. He said, "Listen to your ancestors, Spyro. Not send them smoke signals." Spyro sags, and Spyro stands on an ivory perch high on the wall. Ignitus and Sparks flutter before him in the air. Flying. No matter what you've experienced, you can fly, Spyro. It is your mind, not your body, that is holding you back. You sure about that, Big Red? 'Cause his wings are puny and his butt is huge. Oh my god, Sparks, shut up. Spyro looks over the edge of the perch, scared. Now, put aside your fears and trust in what you are. Alright, here it goes. Spyro flaps his wings and jumps off the porch and flutters there in the air. Hey, look, I'm doing it. But then, crash! He drops out of frame. Sparks gives Ignitus a look. You sure you're certified for this? Spyro and Ignitus stand under the floating orb filled with ice. Sparks flutters behind them. Close your eyes. And this time, let in the cold. Aren't there any fun dragon powers? Like the power of making delicious sandwiches? Ignoring Sparks, Spyro closes his eyes and concentrates. He suddenly shivers. I can feel it. I feel cold. Ignitus takes Spyro by the shoulders and turns him towards an elemental beast training statue. Let it consume you. Reach into the deepest depths of the ice and bring it forth. Spyro clenches, inhales, and roar! Tink! A small ice cube drops out of his mouth. Sparks breaks into hysterics. Yeah, now we can make iced tea. Sparks laughs so hard he almost shakes himself off the perch. Spyro gives Sparks a look, then suddenly winces. Ow, ow, ow! Brain freeze! Brain freeze! Spyro grabs his head and runs out of frame. So they're having Ignitus teach Spyro all the elements here instead of the other guardian dragons teaching Spyro of their element. Okay. I'm shrugging, in case you don't know. Spyro stands on another ivory perch. Ignitus and Sparks flutter before him. Do not think, Spyro. Just fly. Fly! Spyro jumps off the perch, flutters in the air for a moment, and then drops out of frame again. Crash! Spyro and Ignitus now stand under the floating orb filled with lightning. They say lightning is the most chaotic of the magics, but also the most powerful. In the games, lightning is called electricity. I mean, it's much more easier to say than lightning. Element of electricity. Spyro looks up at the orb. Tap into the intangible, young Spyro. Into the power of nature's fury. Spyro closes his eyes and really concentrates. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can. Rah! Spyro spins to face a target on the wall, opens his mouth and... pop! A tiny spark crackles on his tongue. You call that lightning? I generate more current when I fart. Urgh. Yeah, this movie Sparks is more annoying than the game Sparks. Jeez, shut up for once. Sparks explodes into hysterics. Spyro spins to face him. You know what, Sparks? Why don't you just shut up? Bzzz. A bolt of lightning suddenly explodes out of Spyro's mouth and hits Sparks. Yes! Woo! Finally! Good God. Even Spyro got annoyed. Jeez. Yeah! Sparks' dragonfly glow flickers and then blinks off. Hey, what did you do? Spyro's eyes widen. Ignitus! I did it! Good, Spyro. Now quickly, from that same place, bring out... Spyro and Ignitus stand before a row of training dummies. Your fire! Spyro closes his eyes, inhales, and... roar! Crackle. A small flame shoots out of his mouth, singeing the head of the wooden goblin. Excellent! Now, ice! Spyro stands before another statue, and... whoosh! A tiny stream of ice shoots out of his mouth, coating the statue in ice. Yes, that's it! Now? Spyro again stands on ivory perch. Ignitus flaps in front of him. Fly, Spyro! Fly! Spyro flaps his wings, leaps off the perch, and... drops out of frame with a crash. Ignitus winces. Perhaps that is enough for today. I mean, you started mastering all the other elements, but still can't fly. He still probably has a lot to learn. Ignitus flies out of frame, revealing Sparks fluttering there, his light still out. Hey, is someone gonna turn me back on or what? Come on, this isn't funny. Sparks flies out of frame. We move towards a crack in the wall, beyond which we can see the darkening night. The black dragon Cinder kneels in the center of the room. She is much larger now, strong and monstrous. The red eyes of the Dark Master gleam in the darkness in front of her. So now we have Dark Cinder. And it's after the middle of the story. You'd think they introduced her right after the start or something. I mean, they did, but she's now fully corrupted here. After, like, after the halfway point of the script. You think she'd be, have a more presence, but she's still with the Dark Master here. Doing nothing? I don't know. It is time for you to spread your wings, my pet. Go to the temple and end this foolishness once and for all. Then you and I will rule these dark lands together. Pock swings down from his perch. You and her? What about me? What about us? Okay, I'm down there, Pox. There's plenty of room for everybody. You're that attached to Malefor, huh? The Dark Master growls. Pox cowers. Sure. We'll be one big happy family. I'm cool with that. Cinder bows before the red eyes of the Dark Master. I will not fail you, my master. Cinder rises to her feet, extends her black wings, and flaps out of the room. Pox watches her go and sighs. Boy, I wish I was bigger. The sun rises over the ancient temple of the dragons. Ignitus, Spyro, and Sparks sit on the floor, munching on a meal of twigs and berries. Hunter stands by the door, still peering out at the scarred countryside. I don't know, Ignitus. So I can freeze a statue, turn a dragonfly's lights out? You really think that's going to be enough to defeat the biggest, meanest dragon of all time? Everything has a beginning, young Spyro. The important thing is for you to believe, truly believe in what you are. Only then will you fully tap into the power of your ancestors. Spyro takes this in and nods. Sparks pops a twig in his mouth and grimaces. Hey, Big Red, can I ask you a really, really important question? Of course. You got any salt? Ignitus gives Sparks a look. Okay. Geez, I thought I'd ask. Spyro pops another twig in his mouth and forces it down. Ignitus turns to Hunter by the door. Hunter, you have been on alert all night. Come, have something to eat. We are safe here. I just cannot shake this feeling, Ignitus. Hunter scans the countryside one more time, and then sits down next to Sparks. He picks up a small bowl of milk and begins to lap at it like a cat. Imagine a cheetah warrior lapping a bowl of milk like a cat. Well, cheetahs are felines, so they are going to lap up water. See, I told you. Disgusting. Spyro smiles when, boom! The room suddenly shakes. What was that? Ignitus and Hunter leap to their feet when, boom! The room shakes again, and the wall behind them starts to crumble. Ignitus, what's happening? Crash! A battering ram suddenly bursts through the wall, and an army of goblins charges in with axes and clubs. Spyro, get back! Spyro jumps back, and Ignitus swings his tail, sweeping the first line of goblins right back out through the wall. But a whole new line instantly takes their place. Hunter, we must get Spyro to safety. And Sparks too. Stay behind me, both of you. Whoosh! Ignitus blasts the goblins with a burst of fire and charges for the door. Hunter, Spyro, and Sparks follow, but a group of goblins leap in front of them. This doesn't look like safety to me. Hunter pulls out his sword and goes to work. So instead of an archer, Hunter is a warrior, is a fighter too. He has his own sword. In the Legend of Spyro Dawn of the Dragon, we only see him carry around his bow and arrow. Here, he has a sword, so he can be in physical combat. Hunter pulls out his sword and goes to work. He fights the goblins back, lobbing off the tops of their clubs and shattering their axes. But more keep coming. A few leap onto Ignitus' back. Ignitus twists and thrashes, trying to shake them off. Off, demons! He somersaults forward, launching them into the wall. Bonk, bonk. Then something catches his eye. Spyro, duck! Spyro ducks and whoosh! Ignitus releases a torrent of fire over his head. A cluster of goblins behind Spyro go screaming out of the room, their butts on fire. Spyro pulls himself to his feet and sees dozens more goblins swarming into the room. They're everywhere. A pack of them suddenly jump onto Ignitus' neck. He wrestles with them when, Ignitus, look out! A goblin is at Ignitus' tail, raising an axe. Spyro suddenly charges and, rah! He shoots a small stream of fire at the goblin, setting his hide on fire. The goblin shrieks and runs off. So, every time a goblin is set on fire, its butt is on fire and just runs around? What, they don't have them burning to ashes or something? Come on. Hey, look at that. Score 1 for grape juice. Good, Spyro. Behind you. Spyro turns and 3 more goblins are charging towards him, their clubs raised. Spyro takes a deep breath and, tink, 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 shoots a barrage of ice cubes at them. Ow, 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 ow! The goblins cover their heads and run off. Spyro smiles when 2 more goblins grab him from behind. He tries to fire on them, but they clamp his snout closed. Nice try. Spyro struggles, taking a deep breath in. Zzz! A field of electricity surges around him. Ow! Goblin number 5 and Goblin number 6 are thrown off, as if zapped by a stun gun. Spyro pulls himself to his feet when a rope goes over his neck. Hey! And another rope lassos him, and another. 3 goblins drop from the ceiling with the ends of the ropes. Spyro tries to shoot fire on them, but the goblins tug on the ropes, jerking him back and forth. They start to pull him off when, from out of nowhere, roar! Sparks suddenly charges with a stick, screaming at the top of his lungs. Smack, smack, smack! He goes from one goblin to the other, hitting them in their faces. Whoa. Sparks really going out his way. Wow. Like in the games, like Sparks just hovers on the sidelines doing nothing, while in hiding even. But here he goes out his way to try and save Spyro here. You like that? How about this? He darts behind them and dunk, 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 hits them over their heads. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He keeps hitting them until they screech and drop their ropes and run off. Anyone else want a piece of me? Come on! Spyro can't believe his eyes. Sparks, that was amazing! As if, what? What happened? Did I just black out? He notices the stick in his hand and sees the goblins all around them. What am I doing? Let's get out of here! Flight, Spyro, remember? Flight! Sparks flies off. Spyro runs after him and up to Ignitus, who's just dispatching with the goblins on his neck. But still more are flooding into the room. There are too many. Hunter, come on. Ignitus turns and leaps onto Ignitus's back, and they all flee through a shattered opening in the crumbled wall. Spyro charges down the temple stairs. Sparks flies by his side, terrified. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Goblins start popping all around them, and Ignitus, flying with Hunter on his back, does his best to blast them away. Blast, blast, blast! Go! Don't stop! Spyro and Sparks flee down the stairs and into the nearby forest. But then... oh no! Spyro just catches himself before he runs off a cliff. He looks over the edge. It's a deep ravine that looks like it goes forever. Spyro teeters on the edge as Sparks flies past him. Come on, Spyro! Fly! What? You know I can't. Ignitus takes to the air with Hunter on his back and swoops around to face Spyro. You can, and you must. You are a dragon. Spyro looks back. The goblins are closing in on him. He looks over the edge of the ravine. It's now or never. Listen, Spyro. Listen to the blood of your ancestors. Let them lift you up. Spyro closes his eyes, trying to listen. Now, dragon. Now fly, dragon. Fly! Spyro takes a few steps and leaps off the edge of the cliff. He floats there in the air for a moment, as if the whole world has slowed down, and then his little wings start flapping. He stays aloft. It's jerky and awkward, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Finally, he can fly. Like in the game, it takes a teaching from Ignitus for Spyro to actually start flying. But here, it takes him like over most of the movie. He's flightless. Sparks suddenly appears beside him. Look at that! Fat Boy actually can fly! Can you believe it, Sparks? I'm flying! I'm actually flying! It feels amazing! Spyro flaps his wings and climbs higher in the air. He shoots through the clouds, a broad smile on his face, when, roar! An enormous black shape appears before him. Ah! It's Cinder. Spyro tries to put on the brakes, but he hasn't learned how to do that yet. Cinder swoops towards him and reaches out with her talons, but then she suddenly stops. She hangs there in the air, staring at Spyro. A light seems to come on in her eyes that we haven't seen before. Spyro sees it too. He's stunned. They float there, staring at each other when, roar! Ignitus suddenly appears from out of nowhere, slamming Cinder away. Get back, beast! Cinder rolls, but then rights herself and spins back around. Blast! She fires. Ignitus dodges, but Cinder is upon him. She tackles him. They grapple in the air, and Hunter falls off Ignitus' back. Hunter! Ignitus goes to dive after him, but can't get out of Cinder's grasp. Spyro watches Hunter fall through the air, and without thinking, suddenly drops his wings and goes into a dive. He races after him, and swoop! He snatches him right before he hits the ground. Young one! Spyro flies wildly through the sky with Hunter hanging upside down. They finally land safely on the ground, and Hunter gives Spyro a look of shocked gratitude. You deserved every bow. Spyro's knees weaken, shocked at his own performance. Then he hears a roar, and looks up to see Ignitus still facing off with Cinder in the air. Blast! Ignitus blasts her wing, but Cinder is strong and quickly fires back. Blast, blast, blast! Her black fire hits Ignitus in the chest, throwing him backwards in the air. Before he can recover, Cinder sends an explosive stream of black fire at him. Whoosh! Ignitus roars in pain and goes limp in midair. He starts falling from the sky. Ignitus! Ignitus falls and falls until, slam! He hits the ground, shaking the earth. Spyro, Hunter, and Sparks rush to his side. Big Red? Ignitus, are you okay? Ignitus turns to him, his eyes unable to focus. Spyro. Spyro grabs him and tries to help him to his feet. Ignitus, get up. We have to get out of here. The Dark Master. No. That is not the Dark Master. It is only his apprentice. What? Spyro looks up to see Cinder dropping down behind them. It doesn't matter. We have to get out of here now. Ignitus weakly raises his head and looks at Spyro. Spyro, you must believe. Believe in what you are, and let your ancestors show you the way. And only then will you fulfill your destiny. Ignitus gives Spyro one last look, and then starts to fade away. His thick, leathery hide is becoming translucent. Spyro's eyes whiten in horror. What's happening? Ignitus! Ignitus' deep red color flows out of his body and streams into the sky. And then he's gone. Ignitus. Well, they killed off Ignitus in this movie. At least in this script. The writers definitely played a little of Dawn of the Dragon here. If they just killing off all the Guardians and now Ignitus. Spyro stares at the patch of ground where Ignitus once lay, and then an evil cackle rises behind him. And now, to finish this once and for all, Spyro, Hunter, and Sparks turn to see Cinder stalking towards them. Say goodbye, Dragon of the Prophecy. Cinder clenches and inhales, and suddenly the ground beneath Spyro, Hunter, and Sparks gives way, swallowing them into the earth. Cinder's black fire just misses them, and when the dust settles, they're gone, and the earth is again intact. Cinder rushes to the spot where they were standing. It's solid. What? She stomps her feet and... Rah! She blows a torrent of black fire into the sky. Break time. Stretching my arms and legs. Drinking my water. Starting to feel like they're like cramming too many storylines in this script here. First Hunter, then Ignitus' death, and Cinder is just now showing up as an actual threat. Like, and it's already close to the end of the script. Like, whoa. Barely any presence here. is have like over over 10 pages left. Not too far now, everyone. Okay. Continuing. 3, 2, 1. We are pulled through the dirt with Spyro, Hunter, and Sparks. Roots and rocks shoot by us as they're dragged deeper and deeper into the earth. Spyro! What's going on? Suddenly, a light appears at the end of the tunnel, and thump, thump, thump. Spyro, Sparks, and Hunter drop onto a soft bed of mud and moss. Scurrying sounds are heard, and little yellow eyes appear all around them. Hunter? Hunter squints into the darkness. Moliere? Wait, they added Moliere here? A short, mole-like creature with squinty eyes steps into the light and wrinkles his nose at Hunter. Hunter! Thank goodness we got to you in time, old friend. Where is Ignitus? Hunter looks down and solemnly shakes his head. It was the black minion of the Dark Master. She was too much for him. What? It's not possible. The great Ignitus? Fallen? Moliere drops his head, and more mole people step into the light around them. They exchange solemn looks. Mole people, in the games, Moliere is part of a race called Man We're Smalls. The name is based on the word man, we're small. And they're mole-like creatures too. We came as soon as we felt the movements of the earth. It is our fault. We should have been swifter. We should have. Moliere trails off, suddenly noticing Spyro. Is this? Hunter nods. Moliere and the moles brighten. Then perhaps all is not yet lost. Moles, behold, the great dragon of prophecy. Yeah, I guess in this film, Moliere and the rest of his kind were changed from man were smalls to moles, like in Dawn of the Dragon. The moles in Dawn of the Dragon were responsible for building the Dragon City of Warfang and also took part in the war against the Dark Master's army. Spyro looks around to see all the moles looking at him with hope in their eyes. Hunter gets down on one knee and addresses Spyro more intimately. I can only imagine what you are feeling right now, young one. But the loss of Ignitus cannot prevent you from fulfilling your destiny. It is up to you now. It is up to you to save us all. Spyro looks at Hunter, looks at all the moles, and Spyro rushes through the tunnel. Sparks chases after him. Spyro, stop! Come on, wait up! Spyro stops, and Sparks catches up, out of breath. Where are you going? There still may be time to get back to the Glen. We can warn Mom and Dad. We can hide and... Wow. Just immediately gives up. Just like that. Sparks flies in front of him. The Glen? Don't you remember? If the Dark Master gets his way, there's not going to be Glens anymore. There's just going to be darkness. There's nothing I can do about it, Sparks. Ignitus was right. I'm not ready. And now that he's gone, I'll never be. There's nothing left to do but leave, run, get as far away from here as possible. Spyro turns to run down the tunnel. Sparks stops him. Spyro, you don't have that choice anymore. Spyro gives Sparks a searching look. What? What are you talking about? Remember? You're not a dragonfly, Spyro. You're a dragon. And dragons don't have a choice. They fight. Spyro looks at him, taking this in, and then looks away. But even if I wanted to, I can't do it alone. You don't have to. I will fight with you. Spyro looks at Sparks, taken by his sudden bravery, and then, as will we. Spyro turns to see Moliere and the entire mole tribe standing behind him with picks and axes. And the cheetahs are already on their way. 10,000 strong. Whoa. Spyro turns again to see Hunter standing behind him, his sword unsheathed. We will all fight by your side, great dragon of prophecy. Hunter bows, and everyone bows with him, even Sparks. Spyro looks at the room full of his new allies. It's an awesome sight. He takes a deep breath. The choice has been made. The red eyes of the Dark Master stare at the life gem as the red essence of Ignitus flows into it. Is that the mighty guardian Ignitus I see? The gem suddenly pulses, illuminating the silhouettes of the ghostly dragons inside. Yes. His fire will serve me well. There's a flutter of wings, and Cinder appears inside the chamber. The red eyes turn on her and narrow. Why have you returned? I sense your errand is not yet complete. Cinder bows down before him. I do not know what happened, Master. Some form of magic came to his aid, and... You... failed me? Cinder steps back, terrified. I am sorry, my lord. Boom! A blast of purple fire suddenly explodes out of the darkness and knocks Cinder back. Is there no creature capable of doing my bidding? Boom! Another blast of purple fire slams into Cinder, and she begins to shrink. Even you, who I nurtured, who I created. Boom! Jeez, Malefor, calm down. The Dark Master slams her again, and Cinder writhes on the ground and shrinks some more. Her mighty black mass is becoming smaller and smaller, until all that remains is a young black dragon about Spyro's size. Wow. Just like that, she's returned to normal after being abused by the Dark Master? No epic battle between her and Spyro? Wow. Wasted potential there. Definitely wasted. She shudders on the ground when a shadow falls on her, and the Dark Master finally steps out of the shadows. He's massive, monolithic, bulging with muscle and sinew. And he's purple just like Spyro. He turns his red eyes on little Cinder and shakes his head. What a disappointment you turned out to be. He inhales and is about to give her one final blast when... Master! The Dark Master stops and turns to see Pox fluttering in the window. You should see this. The Dark Master turns to the chamber window to see what looks like a great army on the horizon. Moles, cheetahs, and the silhouette of a small dragon leading them. The Dark Master narrows his eyes. So it shall be. He picks up the life gem, hangs it around his neck with a chain, and flies out of the room with an earth-shattering flutter of wings. A red sun rises over the Black Mountain Castle. Herds of elemental beasts and legions of goblins occupy a sprawling encampment surrounding the fortress like an army laying in wait. Suddenly, the Dark Master bursts from the highest tower and alights on a lower parapet. The goblins and elemental beasts seem to gasp collectively. Goblins! Beasts! Loyal legions in the service of darkness! The dawn of the eternal night! The dawn of eternal night is upon us! The night of eternal darkness! From The Legend of Spyro the Eternal Night, the sequel to A New Beginning and prequel to Dawn of the Dragon. Reference, for those who don't know. Today, we fight our final battle, and tomorrow these lands belong to us. The beasts screech with delight and wave their clubs and maces. Now go, show them the folly of their hope. The goblins and elemental beasts let out a guttural battle cry and charge towards the approaching army. We zoom across the field to see Spyro wearing a golden battle helmet, hovering at the head of the army of moles and cheetahs. A golden battle helmet. Now we've seen Spyro wear helmets and collectible helmets in Spyro Dawn of the Dragon, but not a golden battle helmet. I don't think we've seen one. His eyes widen at the sight of the Dark Master's beast charging towards him. He tries to steel himself. Beside him, Sparks, wearing his own little battle helmet, gulps. A Sparks wearing his own little helmet. Hey, you know something? I think I might have left the campfire on. I better go check. Sparks goes to fly off, but Spyro grabs him and turns him back around. He sets his jaw and suddenly kicks off and takes to the sky. Hunter and Moliere take off beside him, and the cheetahs and mole men charge. The two armies get closer, and clash. They meet with a clatter of metal against metal. Cheetah warriors throw their spears and swing their swords. Mole men scatter with their picks and axes. The battle has begun. A huge elemental beast picked up a cheetah when Hunter leaps onto its back and knocks him out. He helps the other cheetah up, and the two charge back into battle. Moliere and two other mole men charge towards a row of goblins. The goblins snicker and raise their maces and swipe. Moliere and the mole suddenly dive into the ground and create a hole in the earth. Before they know it, the goblins fall in and are buried up to their necks. Spyro and Sparks hover over the battle. Spyro sees two elemental beasts overcoming a cheetah warrior. He looks at Sparks. Sparks nods. Bring it. Spyro grits his teeth and dives towards the battlefield. He flies behind the elemental beast and closes his eyes. Okay. Reach for the fire. Reach for the fire. Reach for the... He inhales and blast! The elemental beasts are blown backwards, hit the ground, and burst into bits. Yeah! Woohoo! Now that's what I call a barbecue. Nice one, Grape Juice. Spyro smiles and turns back to the battle. He sees four goblins chasing a group of mole men. He narrows his eyes and dives towards them. Hey, is it hot out here or is it just you? He inhales and poof! He only makes a puff of smoke. The goblins grin. They raise their maces when they suddenly disappear from view. Spyro looks down to see Moliere burying them in a big hole. Thanks, Moliere. There are more of them. He points. Spyro turns to see a dozen more goblins closing in. Uh-oh. There's a blizzard inside me. He inhales and blast! Shoots a turret of ice, freezing the goblins in place just before they clobber him. Yeah! Sparks flies up. May I? Sure. Tink! Sparks taps the frozen goblins with a stick and they shatter. Thanks, Spark. Slam! From out of nowhere, Pox lands on Spyro's head and slaps his wings over his eyes, sending Spyro into his tailspin. Whoa! You like that? Then you're going to love these. Pox bares his fangs and is about to bite Spyro on the neck when... Hey, Bat Brain, why don't you pick on someone your own size? Bam! Sparks suddenly flies into frame and knocks Pox off Spyro. I got this one, Spyro. Thanks, Sparks. Spyro flies off and blasts more goblins with his fire and ice. Sparks and Pox face off in midair. What are you supposed to be? A firefly? You want to know who I am? I'm your worst nightmare. Bam! Sparks punches Pox in the eye. Ow! Hey! I wasn't ready yet. Bam, bam, bam. Sparks hits him 3 more times. Ow, ow, ow. That's it. You're asking for it. Pox opens his fangs wide and dives bomb Sparks. Pox opens his fangs wide and dive bombs Sparks. Sparks casually flies to the side and dunk. Pox slams into a tree stump. He goes to pull himself off, but his fangs are stuck. Hey, Hey, that's not fair. Sparks chuckles and flies off. He catches back up with Spyro as he's taking down more goblins. Hey Sparks, let's see what else is inside me. Spyro turns and zooms towards a gang of elemental beasts flying after some cheetahs. He swoops down, inhales, and roar! Zzz! Bolts of lightning shoots out of his mouth, shocking the beast. They shudder and keel over. And suddenly he's mastering all of his elements during the heat of battle, the mist of war. Yeah! 3 more come at him, their maces raised. Spyro closes his eyes, inhales, and shoosh! A gust of wind rushes out of him, blowing the elemental beast, plus 10 more behind him, across the battlefield. Spyro mastering the wind element. Something we never saw in the actual Legend of Spyro games. Now that was cool. Mole Men and cheetahs cheer. Spyro looks around. They now outnumber the goblins and elemental beasts. They're doing it. They're actually... Enough! The Dark Master suddenly drops from the sky and appears before Spyro. Spyro's eyes whiten in horror at the enormous purple dragon hanging in the air before him. Spyro? He's purple, like you. Spyro hovers in the air, gaping at the Dark Master. The Dark Master gives him an amused smile. Well, what are you waiting for? Didn't you come here to destroy me? Isn't that your destiny? Blast! The Dark Master shoots a breath of purple fire at Spyro, but Spyro dodges. That's right, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Blast! Spyro shoots a turret of ice at the Dark Master. It coats his enormous wings, freezing them in place. Spyro beams, but the Dark Master looks back and easily shrugs off the ice. Uh-oh. The Dark Master's tail suddenly comes out of nowhere and whips Spyro. Whoa! He goes tumbling through the air. He finally rights himself and whoosh! Unleashes a powerful blast of fire at the Dark Master. Rah! The Dark Master is blown back, and Spyro flies after him and continues his attack. Zap! A bolt of lightning. Whoosh! A blast of wind. Boom! Another blast of fire. The Dark Master flounders, falls back, and drops towards the ground. Sparks and the rest of the creatures hold their breaths. Is this the end? He's doing it! He's doing it! Spyro flies after the Dark Master, blasting him as fast as he can. Zap! Whoosh! Boom! He tries to close in on him, but... Rah! The Dark Master spins and backhands him with his wing. Spyro flies back, tumbling through the sky, and... Then it happens so fast. The Dark Master is suddenly upon him, blasting with a ferocity we'd never seen. Boom! 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 Over and over, an unending burst of purple fire. Spyro is blown back and forth in midair. Boom! 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 It's too much for him. He's engulfed by the fire. He drops from the sky and falls lifelessly into the ground. Sparks gasp. Hunter and Moliere turn. The Dark Master cackles and lands before Spyro. I spent years searching these lands for you, and now that you lie before me, I realize what a waste it's been. Spyro squints up at the Dark Master and sees the life gem hanging around his neck. The ghostly silhouettes of fallen dragons swirl inside. And then, Spyro sees his own reflection cast on the face of the gem. It's almost as if he's right there among the generations of dragons that came before him. They swirl past him. And is that Ignitus? As he passes. Believe. You must believe. A new look comes into Spyro's eyes as the Dark Master inhales and prepares to deliver his final blow. You're not the dragon of prophecy. You're barely even a dragon. Boom! The Dark Master unloads his breath of fire, but Spyro rolls out of the way just in time. He leaps into the air and flaps defiantly before the Dark Master. You're wrong. I am the dragon of prophecy. The blood of my ancestors courses through my veins. I can finally feel it. And now, so will you. Spyro inhales and blast! A volcano of fire suddenly explodes from his mouth, purple and pulsing with energy. It blows the Dark Master back and engulfs the life gem on his chest. So, this is the film version of the ether breath? Of the ether element, I guess? The gem seems to absorb the flames for a moment, and then... kaboom! It shatters in a flash of blinding light. The world is silent as the Dark Master hangs there in the sky, his eyes wide, and then he starts to disappear. He fades into the harsh light, and then he's gone. So that's it? He's easily defeated just like that? What a downgrade. Spyro watches as the sky starts to dim, and the pieces of the gem start to come back together in the air. The shards reassemble themselves, and the life gem glows one more time and then plunges itself into the ground, shaking the earth. Pox pulls his teeth out of the stump and flaps into the air. Master! Wait for me! Pox zooms into the ground after the gem. The world quakes around him and then settles. Spyro looks around, squinting through the fog and smoke, and sees the goblins and elemental beasts sinking back into the ground. They whine as their bodies turn back to dirt and mud and fall to pieces. A strong wind picks up around Spyro, and the clouds start to part. The sky clears and brightens, and the blackened earth is swept into the horizon, turning the land back into the green valley it once was. Just like that? Everything is turning back to normal just like that? Spyro's face lights up along with the world around him when... I told you you were a very special dragon. Spyro spins to see Ignitus standing in the fog. Ignitus? Ignitus steps up and smiles warmly. You did it, young Spyro. You saved us all. Ignitus escorts Spyro out of the fog to see hundreds and hundreds of dragons. There are blue ones and green ones and brown ones. A dragon for every color of the rainbow. And then 100 more. Spyro is awestruck. Would you like to meet them? Wait, so all the dragons are brought back to life? I guess when the life gem was destroyed? Okay. From the looks of it, the writers are really going for a younger audience, so the children won't be sad. Look, sounds like it. Spyro smiles, overcome. There are so many of them. Where do we even begin? Let's start with my brother guardians. Ignitus leads Spyro to a group of 3 noble dragons. The first one is yellow and looks frenetic, intellectual. Voltaire, allow me to present Spyro. Voltaire grabs Spyro's hand and frantically shakes it. It borders on a miraculous, incredible, stupendous. A dragon your size defeating the Dark Master. I'm flabbergasted, flummoxed. Well, almost word for word from Voltaire. I mean, it's a direct reference from the first Legend of Spyro game, A New Beginning, after Spyro saves Voltaire and Dante's freezer. It's almost the same dialogue too, for anyone who remembers it. All right, Voltaire, you'll have plenty of time to express yourself during this training. My training? Yes. These are your new mentors. Voltaire will teach you how to refine your element's electricity. Oh, now they correct the electricity. I thought it was lightning. Voltaire nods enthusiastically. Ignitus gestures to a blue dragon with a stodgy look on his face. And this is Cyril. He will show you how to better control your ice. It will be an honor, old chap. What you did out there was smashing. Really smashing. Can't wait to get into it with you and chop it up. Wow. Thanks. Ignitus steps up to the last guardian, a mighty green dragon that seems rough around the edges. Terrador will help you hone your powers of Earth. It's clear you have some skills, but they are very crude. Perhaps with some guidance you will become a truly great warrior. Spyro nods. Ignitus steps in front of the Guardians and smiles down at him. And of course, I will always be here for you, your mentor of fire. Spyro gazes up at his new mentors in awe when Sparks suddenly flies up. Spyro, come quick! It's what? What is it, Sparks? I think it's Cinder. Spyro points to a small black dragon limping out of the mountain of Malifor. What? Cinder meekly looks around at all the dragons coming out of the fog. Come, little one. It's okay. As Cinder cautiously approaches, Spyro looks up at Ignitus, confused. Cinder was once an egg in the temple, just like you, until the Dark Master got to her. Your paths are linked, as will be your futures. Spyro looks at Cinder. I think I knew. Outside the Dragon Temple, I sensed something I couldn't explain. This is like a reference from when, after Spyro battled Cinder for the first time in Concurrent Skies, he saw something familiar in Cinder, and Ignitus told Spyro that Cinder was just like him, but was corrupted by the Dark Master. Cinder looks at all the dragons looking down at her. I'm so sorry. I did so many terrible things. Spyro approaches her. It's okay. He's gone now. Everything is going to be different. They exchange a smile when Sparks flies up. That's right, it is. Let's hear from my brother, Spyro the Dragon. The entire crowd of dragons and Molemen and cheetahs cheers, and wildflowers bloom. Pollen drifts lazily in the breeze. Sunlight streams through the trees. Spyro flies up, flanked by Sparks and Cinder. Sparks is talking a mile a minute. It was just amazing. You were like, zzz, and he was like, aw man, you got me. And you were like, think that's bad? How about a little bit of this? And he was like, I know, Sparks. I was there, remember? And you've been recapping it the whole way. Sparks gives him a smile. I'm just excited to get home and tell everyone about it. Spyro smiles. Cinder looks at him. Do you think it will be okay? Will they let me stay? Of course. They let me stay, remember? Cinder smiles. Aw. So Cinder is going to stay with them in their Dragonfly Glen. That's sweet. I wonder if they heard about it yet. You don't think they're expecting us, do you? Suddenly, the trees part to reveal all the dragonflies in the glen. They cheer! Spyro and Sparks light up. Flash and Luna appear in the crowd and fly towards them. Mom! Dad! Sparks flies up to meet them and hugs them both. Oh, my boy! My beautiful boy! Don't you mean boys? Flash opens his arms to Spyro. Come here, son. Spyro beams and flies to them. Flash smiles. Hey, look who found his wings. I'm so proud of you, honey. But, you know, you have to be careful. There are a lot of crazy flyers out there and... Mom, trust me, I think he can handle it. Spyro laughs as Sparks zooms in a circle and comes face to face with the beautiful Dragonfly Glimmer. Oh, hi Glimmer. How's it going? Glimmer looks at him and... What? She turns and flies off towards her friend, mortified. Oh my god, did you see that? He talked to me. Sparks the hero actually talked to me. Wait, Sparks the hero? Sparks the hero. Kinda has a nice ring to it, eh? Well, sure beats bois. Spyro and Sparks exchange a smile when... Yo, Gigantoid. Spyro turns to see the Dragonfly Bully fluttering in front of him. Spyro narrows his eyes at him when... Can I have your autograph? Seriously? You bullied him like after the start of the script, and now after he saved the world, you suddenly want his autograph. Well, okay. The Dragonfly Bully holds out a leaf and a piece of charcoal, and a group of other young dragonflies fly up behind him. Yeah, me too, me too. Spyro smiles and starts signing. Spyro flies up and lands on the edge of the cliff. He gazes out over the landscape, letting the wind catch his wings and raise them up behind him. Ooh, probably a reference to the poster on the right here. Probably. It's the same exact description, too. A new fresco painted in the room of the elders. It's the same exact image. Spyro, the dragon of prophecy, looking towards his future. Suddenly, crack! The panel crumbles to pieces, revealing sparks fluttering behind it. I didn't touch it, I swear. The end. Well, this was quite a script. What do you guys think of it? Leave a like and comment below. Thanks for reading with me. See you next time.